All right. I think I am live. I am very live. So live. Super late night stream. I don't think anyone who follows will be around, but that's okay. All right. So just a late night stream. Probably not gonna be on here for too long. I have an itch to scratch, and that is to play around with a little bit of entity component system API called Flex, library called Flex. So I don't want to do too much tonight. I just want to make sure I have the dependencies I need in place, and draw a window, and maybe get some text rendering, word wrapping, using SDL3. I want to grab the latest SDL3 because I believe they now have a GPU renderer as part of their basic 2D API. So I kind of want to play with that too. But the goal here is to get a Twitch chat up and running that I can just kind of display up above my head with C++ and have it run locally on my machine and not as just like a overlay in OBS. Uh, it also helps me get a better idea on learning SDL and the entity component system because I'm curious if it's feasible to create a UI with entity components versus what I'm used to doing, which is object oriented, like the Qt framework or even Godot, very object oriented architectures. So I kind of want to play around with ECS and see where that takes me. Hey Krishna, how's it going? So, yo Nico, forgive me if I am pronouncing your names terribly incorrectly, which I'm sure will happen. All right. So I think step one is making sure I have the latest SDL3 from VC package, which comes from a new stamp. What are those books in the background? Which direction? Which direction? Wait. So that it Nico, the name's Nico. Okay. That's like the last 3 Harry Potter books. And uh those are Dragon Ball Z DVDs that I got a long time ago. And that's I think that's the original Dragon Ball GT DVDs as well. I'm not 100% sure. All right, let's see here. Um, so with VC package, the way it works, I have the March version. I want to grab the April version, which probably means I need to fetch. Except that's 2025. Where is 2026? Oh, these are branches. I need the actual tag, which is right here, which was a couple days ago. So I'm gonna, oops, I did that wrong. I'm just gonna check that out. Check out. Yes. So that will be where my new submodule is. So I will stage that. And I'm already have Flex listed as a dependency, SDL3 listed as a dependency. So in theory, I will hit configure on CMake, except I don't want to do it for Visual Studio. I want to do it for, let's go with Windows Debug. This will start to build the latest and greatest. Does it give me a version? I think it should give me a version. Oh my god, stop scrolling. Stop it! SDL3 is version 3.4.4, so I'm pretty sure 3.4 is where the GPU renderer comes into play, so that's kind of where I'm at. I guess while that's going, I can try and get my project set up. Give it a main.cpp. CMakeless. I don't think I was going to call this something else, actually. Rename Carwin. We'll call it Carwin. Spell that right. Carwin. If we're for Android, it's a shared library. Otherwise, it's an executable. A bunch of Android stuff. I eventually want to wrap all this into functions to make this a little cleaner. I don't want any of this. Fonts, I think I will need if we're not in scripting. That's for installing. WebAssembly I need. I think everything else is fine. I think I'm just going to straight up link against Flex directly. Well, I guess I could cheat because I'm pretty sure my widget library includes GLM. Core includes Flex, and that's a public. Yeah, so I'll cheat. I'll just do that, and that should give me everything I need. Howdy, howdy, howdy! A bunch of YouTube people. I am not used to that. I'm usually getting Twitch folks. Okay. Oh, everything configured. Sweet. Okay, so this is going to compile first try, right? Because that's how software works for everyone. We'll add that, and that will probably have to reconfigure, actually, so it gets found. Configured, build. Look at that. No warnings. I love no warnings. Uh-oh. I may have spoke too soon. Fatal error link. Cannot find invoke main. Oh. We know what that means, don't we? Auto main return the int. Let's do a simple hello world here for now, just to make sure everything compiles. Don't forget our special main try catch. Oh god, what did I do? Exit success, exist failure. Oh, I don't want to bring that into this world. So main, let's see if that compiles. How long have I been coding in C++? Too long. Way too long. Or not long enough. Depends, because C++ is so complicated. I actually learned C++ in college. And then like right after I graduated, my college stopped teaching C++ and started teaching like Java or something like that, I think. And I happened to get an internship that was also for C++, and the rest was history. Uh, which is about 15 years or so. 15, well, if you count school, technically like closer to 20. I don't really count school, so let's say 15. Okay, so that compiled. Cool. Cool. Sweet. That means I should be able to run this and immediately get at least a hello. X64 Windows debug installed. Then. All right, cool. We got a hello. Our hello world is working. All right. So I don't know how to do um the new SDL3 stuff, so I'm gonna have to look this up. You've been doing C++ data structures and algorithms in university at the moment. My brain is exploding. So, yeah. I mean, I think data structures in general, it's like boom, right? Especially if you're learning them now versus like having used them for a long time. It could definitely be a lot. I assume you're also like having to deal with pointers to create those data structures. I remember that being like a mind warp around trying to understand how pointers work. I was like, what? Why do I need a variable of a variable? Why can't you just give me the freaking variable? Honestly, it wasn't until I started like working and having to use it in a real application that it started to click. Um okay. So I think the easiest thing to start with is to try and figure out how to open a window with SDL. So I've done this before, but it was with an older version of SDL. Where did I do that? I have that code somewhere in here. SDL window. SDL init. That makes sense. We need SDL init and create window. And we probably there's the renderer. I guess let's just start with this junk here. Init. I'm just gonna copy this and clean it up in the main function here. What header do I need? SDL3 dot and SDL dot H. Okay, so we'll just dump this in here. We'll comment this out, and then make sure we include SDL3 SDL dot H. Yeah, you're doing masters of software. Nice. All pointer management, runtime analysis of sorting algorithms implemented manually. Oh, no STL. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I like once I started my actual career, I really haven't had to write too many data structures myself because I make use of the STL, but it does help to at least have a general understanding of what the data structures are so you can make good like default choices. And and what it ends up boiling down to is you have all these data structures that are really good at their certain thing, right? You're gonna have your hash map that's really good at performing your lookup, your search, or what is it? Your doubly linked lists that are really good at inserts and deletes, are like really fast at inserting and removing a node. Maybe not necessarily finding the node to do it, but to be able to like just pull the node out real quick. Like all those are really performant. And then you realize the vector, the contiguous block of memory, it's like almost always the best choice for data structures because it fits in your cache line, or it's like very cache coherent, very memory friendly, and it's like, oh shoot. And then you really get involved with like, oh man, you got to profile anytime you're worrying about performance and decide what decisions to make then. But general understanding is very good for making like good default choices. Hey Rima. Um all right. So I've copied and pasted. I just made my bootloader today, but it's not yet. You made a bootloader. All right, you are officially more advanced than I am. I have not done very much operating system level stuff before, assuming that's what you mean by bootloader. So that's actually really cool. I've always wondered what it would take to like. So I am terrible at pointing at my back shelf here. I have a bunch of Raspberry Pis right there. I've always thought like what it would take to just like try and get something up and running that I wrote from scratch versus like using a Linux kernel or something like that. SDL3. So step one, SDL init. Except the main function does not return standard uninspected. Wait a minute. My Clang format isn't Clang formatting. That's a problem. Why is my Clang format not Clang formatting? Do I not have... I wonder if I have that turned off or not set. I think by default it might be trying to use... Do I have Clang D installed? Because I don't have Clang... No, I don't. Okay, so it should be Clang format. Why is my Clang format not formatting? Format document. Oh, this is why extension LLVM VS Code extension is configured as formatter but not available. Select a different formatter. Clang format. There we go. Whew. I cannot live without an automatic formatter anymore when I work on code. I just can't do it. Forgive my ignorance, but why does one need to build a bootloader unless they are using a custom OS? That is a great question, and hopefully Rima will answer that for you. And while that happens, I'm going to go grab some water. I'll be right back. You know, it also might just be for fun, but a bootloader you're going to need because isn't it the BIOS that launches the bootloader so that you can load your operating system into memory? Okay, so make SDL window error. I don't really need this. This just needs to be return exit failure. I don't need text right now. I don't really need the Android hints. Resizable window and high DPI window is going to be needed. Okay, I'm going to compile that. Make sure that's good. Hi, Trill. What are you doing? My cat's here. What are you doing? Huh? Hello. Hi, Chidney. Oh yeah, I am let's say pleasantly aware of what a lot of the internet thinks of C++. And more recently, apparently I had a just off the cuff YouTube short that I was talking to someone in my chat about. It just like completely blew up and the internet came out in droves to leave a comment. I am starting to get a picture that there's a lot of people out there who do not like C++, but that's okay. Everyone's allowed to like what they like. I don't really have a choice because C++ is all I knew to do back when I started, and now that it's like I've been using it most of my career, I'll tell you another language I like is Dart. I've started using that more recently to build a mobile app. Take care. Yeah, I never really did a bunch of C. I say learned lightly. Like I use C in school and every once in a blue moon I need to, access C APIs to, build C++ software, that kind of thing. But I've never like, at least in my career, I've never really had to write pure C. I've not tried Go. I've looked at Go. It seems pretty straightforward. I'll tell you at least right now where I'm at. What I really appreciate in a coding language is is download it and use it once and it works everywhere. Which is why I started to use Dart and Flutter because I can literally just grab it in a VS Code extension, download it, and it will just build for all platforms. Okay, so that compiled. Does it run? It should run. It runs. Okay. So that was step one. So let's get these flags going. I don't really need this. Okay, we create the window with a title. Uh, what's a good default width? I also need to make sure everyone can see this. Context for auto width. That's not right. Well, this is gonna be a Twitch chat, so I want it to be more vertical. So what is that? Width would be like 720 by 1280. Ooh, except I'm on a 4K screen. Let's do 1080 by 1920. Ooh, except it's gonna scale. We'll see what happens. All right, so we got a width height flags that creates the window. Then I want to make sure. I think it's just a while loop. While not SDL window should. The window should close. Oh, did the AI autocomplete? Is that correct? That doesn't seem correct. Where did I do this? I'm getting all my graphics APIs mixed up. Maybe it's Raylib that does Windows should closed. Where did I do this? I use C, C++, Rust, Node. Oh man, you guys are talkative today. Hey Adam. Really, I use Delphi and C Sharp. I think Swift is really nice. I haven't tried any of those. I've dabbled a little bit in C Sharp. Use C, C++, assembly. I've only done assembly in college. I have not tried Rust yet. The only thing I've done with Node is very, very simple, like tutorial build an app kind of thing. No AI chat. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do I prefer smart pointers to raw pointers? I'm a smart pointer person myself. And that's more because when you're working on bigger teams and because anyone who does C++ knows how easy it is to get it wrong. Smart pointers helps eliminate a bunch of like memory leak bugs, that kind of thing. Yeah, I actually I started off using React to build my mobile app that I'm working on, and I personally was not a huge fan of like the HTML-ish style syntax that React had in it. So I ended up landing on Flutter, which was very much more where I was comfortable with because I'm so used to object-oriented programming and using APIs like Qt to build widgets, and Flutter is like widget based, so it was just more familiar with me to get picked up and running. Nice. Messenger clone. I'm hoping. I don't make any guarantees because I'm so busy with work and I can't like decide on a small enough project that I can stream and be entertaining with that would attract people to like want to follow along. But I do kind of want to build like a just like a personal local Twitch chat that speaks to Twitch API just to see if I could do it. It's not something I've ever done before. But right now I am failing miserably at SDL. What? I could have sworn SDL had a function. All right, I guess I just gotta look up its documentation. Oh, maybe it doesn't have one. So okay, that works for me. Um, that works perfectly fine for me. Let's do the typical. What we got? Pull events. So that should make resizing work. What in the world? That's not even a word. SDL pull event. Native window, local variable, initialized but not referenced. That's fair. Oh wait, I need to destroy this. You guys are letting me immediately create a memory leak. Okay, let's see if that gets me a window. It did get me a window. No one can see it because I did not set OBS up to look at it. And I am terrible at this, so I don't know how to show you unless I manually add it. Stand by. I need to add a source, window capture. Okay. Okay. All right, there it is. It's a black box above my head. Why do you not see the window title? Does anyone know how to... Wait, why would you not be able to see the window title? Oh, I bet it's an option. Stand by. Capture method. Windows. Client A. There we go. There's the title. Okay. All right, we're working. You reading docs, use Cloud for info. Yep. All right. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about there. That's probably not what we want to deal with in this chat. Wait, you can't see. Oh, wait, you can't see it on YouTube? Hello from Russia. How's it going? Forgive me, guys. I don't know. This is the most people I've had in my YouTube chat, so you guys are all experiencing any issues because I do not know what I'm doing. So I apologize for that. You guys will be my early access alpha testers, if you will. I am currently working. I'm trying to build a local app to show Twitch chat so that I can have it on my display and also be able to like build little interactable tools with it. Maybe. Okay. Step one, create the window. Step two, maybe show some basic text, that kind of thing. But the other thing I want to do, because I've never done this before, is use entity component system instead of object oriented programming, and see how difficult it is. Just because I've never done it before, and I'm curious. Where is? Why can't I find? Maybe it was already taken care of. All right, never mind. I was looking something up. I guess it was already taken care of. Oh, you're right. Sorry, I did not put it up in the vertical display. One sec. I can definitely toss it up there. And I will have to look at. I think someone mentioned using some kind of scene layer, which I'm doing a layer, but I'm like manually capturing the window to show it. Honestly, I might have to break down and show the desktop. Let's see here. Scene, add source. Window capture, add existing. Where is it? Where is it? Capture, add source. Okay, so why is it not there? All right, I swear I added it. I swear I did it. Why is it not showing up? Properties. Let's go to properties. Oh, it has like a different name. Automatic. Client area. Okay, we're almost there. I think I almost got it. All right, there you go. Now you see the the black box. That's all I have done so far. I'm gonna try and shrink it. Vertical is tough. I don't have like a lot of space to work with, and I don't know what's like worth covering up or not. But we'll do that for now, and that's what we'll live with. All right. So success. I can resize the window, so that's good. And I should be able to close it, and we don't crash. That's always a good thing. If you can create a initial application that runs and doesn't crash, you're already on the right track. Do I need any of this for now? I don't think I need any of this for now. Set window position. So I don't need that anymore. And then if I launch it again, does it reappear for everyone? It looks like it does, and I can resize it, so that's good. If I move it around, it stays put for you guys. Is it showing up twice? Oh, I have a ton of Qt experience. I've been deep in the weeds with Qt. I've done desktop widgets. I've been working with Qt since the end of 4, all of 5, and most of 6 until recently. Most of 6, and then with version 6 is when I really got into like QML and Qt Quick. For one client, I had to write or create a patch to Qt's media multimedia streamer thing. They have like a plugin or something for their multimedia streamer because their playback time is only in milliseconds, and I actually needed microsecond precision, so I had to go in and patch all that code to make that work. So I am very familiar with Qt. All right, we have a window. So now the question is, how do I live without you? I need the new SDL3 3.4 I guess release notes. Maybe I just go to GitHub. GitHub SDL3 releases. Uh, Actually, no. I wanted to see if they had examples because I have read there is a new GPU renderer for the 2D stuff, which enables shaders and all kinds of other fun things. These were updated 7 months ago, so I highly doubt they have it. Unless it's 3 months ago, unless it's this one. Create window and renderer. No, this isn't it. This isn't it. Well, I guess I'll just try. No, nope, I don't want this. So we create SDL, create GPU. Oh, wait, did I see it? GPU, SDL create no, that's the 3D one. I know I want the 2D. 2D SDL 2D. Oh, I'm terrible at this. I'm not. I've not used Qt with Python before. I do. Oh, they do have a canvas painter. I am aware of that. All right, what was I looking for? Okay, I need to look up the release notes because SDL3. Maybe I can just Google it. 3.4 2D GPU renderer. I don't think this is this it. It's the only thing I've always struggled with SDL is their documentation always seems all over the place. Lib SDL. Let me just see if their documentation's been updated. If I was this cool new 2D GPU renderer, where would I be hiding? Build. No, that's not what I want. No, actually, this is what I want. Debug. VC package installed. Include. All right, let's find in SDL3. Do I have the right version? Maybe I don't have the right version. How do you feel about the whole AI thing? I've been studying through it and it's making study a challenge considering the task complexity inflation since ChatGPT and the expectation to use the tool. How do I feel about the AI? It's tough for me to provide insight for AI for someone who's like actively learning to program and improve their own skill set, because I know if it existed when I was in college or learning, I would probably be using it to get through school as quickly as I could and as easily as I could, just knowing myself, which probably means I wouldn't learn as much. But once I had a job, like most of what I've learned was on the job, or at least it's what like got me started and got me interested in learning more on my own time. And so literally what I'm doing right now is what I have always done. I tinker to try and learn new techniques, learn new ways to write code, maybe learn to write my own code differently in better ways. But from a business perspective and as like a more senior engineer, I love it for debugging. It is so much nicer to be able to like, hey, I'm running into an issue here. Can you like here's the project. Can you scan it for me and run it and you know, if you have all the tools on your system like sanitization tools, that kind of thing, and just have AI automatically do all of that to narrow down your problem and figure out like what's causing it, saves a significant amount of time. I remember I used to uh I had this crazy random crash on a OpenGL library I used to use, open source. And this was in a client's program, right? So it's running like on their computer, and I was out at their office watching it run, and it would just randomly crash once in a blue moon. And it's like, what the heck is going on? I had to go out, find where the original source code for this library was, build it. And here's the problem, and I'm sure a lot of you have run into this when you're debugging. There you have like a debug build and a release build. Well, the debug build, which isn't optimized, it would not crash. But the release build, it would crash. It always would crash. So then what I ended up having to do to track this down is I did a middle ground, right? You compile the code in what's called rel with deb info, which is like partially optimized, but you still get like debug information as much as you could possibly get the debug information. Link that into my client's product, run it, and eventually track down the fact that all of the graphics were running on a separate thread, and we were destroying a graphics object on the main thread, and there was a race condition that we hadn't caught, and it's like, holy crap, that took me a week, like not just a week, it took me like 8 hours a day full time, and then my own personal evening time because I was interested in trying to solve it. It took like a week of that to figure that out. Now with AI and knowing what I know about how all of this works, it would be a lot easier for me to be like, hey, do. I've got some graphics running on a separate thread. I'm experiencing a random crash. This is usually indicative of a race condition. Could you write me a test with this API and run it on a thread and thrash it for me a bit and see if you can locate what's going on and do that, and then within a few minutes it'd be like, oh yeah, we'll do that, and we'll also run this tool that I didn't know existed, and we'll also run this tool for you and help you narrow this down, and boom, there's your problem, right? So AI from that perspective, I think, is huge, at least for me. But I do feel the lack of learning myself, just myself alone, when I do use AI to like generate code. It's tough because it like if it generates the solution and it works, I'm like, it's good enough. I'm gonna move on, and then you keep doing that, And it's like, ah, it's good enough. All right, the next thing, ah, it's good enough. And then eventually you have so much generated code that it's like, I actually don't know what it's doing under the hood. Maybe I should take a step back and start reading it, you know? But it's tough. Like the lazy developer in me is like, oh, this is awesome. I don't have to think anymore. But you actually do because, or at least like professional, like for a business, I do have to make sure my code still like does what it's supposed to do. You know? Yeah, yeah. I think AI is just another. It's another tool, right? And as the world evolves with these tools that automate and make things more productive, the world has to evolve with it, right? The workforce has to evolve with it. I have no idea what it's going to look like personally. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping to be close to retirement to not have to stress about it, but who knows? Only time will tell, and the best I can do is try and adapt and keep up with it. All right. I am not crazy. I swear I saw release notes that said there was a new 2D GPU renderer added SDL create GPU renderer and SDL get GPU render device to create a 2D renderer for use with GPU rendering. Oh, so that is what I needed. I thought that was the 3D one. Okay. Now I need to figure out if there's an example or documentation on how to use this sucker. SCL renderer cannot convert a window to a GPU. Oh, I need the GPU device. Is that what it's saying? I need the device in the window. Okay. Is that real? Is this a real thing? Or is this AI making it up? That's probably AI making it up. So what was it saying? I need a GPU renderer, GPU. So I need this as well. Uh, destroy GPU render state. That's what it is. GPU, or no. Create GPU render state, get GPU render device, create GPU renderer. Oh, there is no destroy. Is there really no examples for this? Let me try the Googles again now that I know what I'm looking for. SDL3 GPU renderer destroy. It's just destroy renderer. It is. Okay. Does this create it? Return the GPU device used by your renderer. I gotta pass the renderer in. Okay, I see what's going on. Wait, what? All right, shader format. I need format flags, debug mode, and a name. What am I working on? Hey, how's it going, C Films? I am well, currently I'm just learning. I am using, I don't know if you're familiar with SDL3. SDL3 is a very, very robust graphics API wrapped around Vulkan, Metal, DirectX 12, WebAssembly, uh, Vulkan's on Android as well, so still Vulkan. But basically, a very robust API to handle graphics. So I am currently learning a new API that just came out with it, and you're watching me struggle through this because so far I haven't found a lot of documentation on it. But the long-term goal, and by long-term I mean hopefully just a couple of live streams or something, I want to create like a Twitch chat window, Twitch YouTube chat window locally on my machine with C++ and these graphics to render text and this chat window so that I can just use it directly versus using the chat window that comes with OBS. Why? Gives me a reason to learn a project and gives me something to work on and talk shop and use C++. No other reason. And if I like the way this goes, I might, this is a very big if, I might use the foundation here to transition my Godot game that I have been working on to full pure C++. So like my project here, I have a bunch of C++ already written as modules. That's what these .ixx files are. How easy is it for you guys to see the text on the screen? Is that coming off kind of small? Do I need to? I'm sure that's a little better, right? If I make it a little bigger. But yeah, I've got like not a whole bunch, but I've got some C++ module code written. I'm using Clang 22, GCC 15.2, Visual Studio 2022 to compile this code. Why? Because I don't get to use modules on my with my day job, but I wanted to learn how to use them, so I was curious. Okay, so create GPU device requires a shader format type. And what does that say? SDL GPU shader format? That looks like that's just a struct, right? SDL GPU shader format. Format? That's not a word. Format. I have no idea what I'm supposed to set here. I'm assuming like colors. Is there? Oh, it's literally just. Oh, I have to specify what shader I'm going to use. Oh boy. Oh, I've done this before, but it's not with this project. Because if I use Spear V here, I can use CMake to auto-generate different shaders into Spear V and just have it use it. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to track this down because I've already done this work before. But I'm on Windows right now, so I should probably just default to, I guess, DirectX. I don't know if I really want to deal with shaders either, so I might switch over to the regular renderer versus the GPU renderer. I don't know what these are. SMS, SM51, and SM60. Are these different shader versions? Let's try this one for now. Debug mode, false. Actually, what does true do? Sure, why not? We'll try this. We create the GPU device, create the window, create the renderer, SDL, destroy. SDL destroy what am I trying to do? Destroy the device, the GPU device. Yes, there we go. Compile. Let's see what happens. First try. This is gonna work. If it works, you guys should see a black box. Oh, my face. Ow! Oh, we're good. We're good. We got a black box. So far, so good. I'm pretty sure I've gotten MingW working with modules. Oh, hey, C-Films. You just rated me? I really appreciate that. I have no way of knowing that you did that, or I don't know how to find out. How do you find out? Do you need to have, like, Twitch up? I really appreciate you rating me if that's what you did. Yeah, I'm still learning. You'll have to, anyone who's watching, you will have to forgive me as I figure all this out. It's gonna take time. But thank you. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've gotten MingW working with modules before. I'm trying to think how much effort that would be. I might be able to show you. I can use MingW on Windows, right? And have it cross-compile to Linux. And also have it compile for Windows, because like I can use MingW for everything, right? Should I try and show you? What do you think? Are you there, D-Ron? I might have time to go on a tangent and have my project support MingW. So just so you guys are aware, I'm using what's called CMake presets, and I have made I have a simplified version of this in my GitHub for anyone to look at called CMake platforms that stands up. I think I don't remember what it is, and it's very simple. I would not consider it robust by any means. It was just a toy project I put together as a tutorial, which I hope to release a YouTube video on soon. We'll see how that goes. It's called CMake Platforms. Your mileage may vary, not very tested. Like I said, I just got it up and running. Yeah, I've got it working for Android, WebAssembly, Windows, Linux. I don't think I have Mac supported yet because I couldn't stream on a Mac. But that would be easy to implement. And the goal here is, and it uses VC package for your dependencies. So if there's ever a library you want to use with this project, you just go into the VC package file, put it in, hit CMake configure, and you're done. So it all gets handled for you automatically. And I'm pretty sure there's other GitHub projects out there that do this. This isn't new at this point. But it might be new to a lot of people who are not familiar with CMake presets. But that's what this is. It uses CMake presets. A more advanced version of that exists with this project I'm using. And when I go to configure with CMake, I get options here, right? So I'm on Windows right now. And with Windows, I can configure with a Windows Clang compiler on ARM64 for Android debug build. I can do it for a release build. So I can build this project on ARM64 and then install it on my phone. In fact, I think I might still have the app here. It's a very stupid, like, it doesn't do anything right now. Right? So that is C++ with this project I have in front of me, compiled for Android, ARM64, using Windows. And then I also have x64, so running on an Android emulator. I also support Visual Studio if I want to open this up in Visual Studio. And then if thanks, C-Films, I really appreciate it. Thanks for the follow. if I want to do Linux, this is where I think this is what I really like about at least VS Code, and I'm sure there other editors use this. I'm kind of looking forward to Z. But with Linux, I just come in here, I can open my project into a dev container, and now I'm in a Linux environment, and I will get access to additional compilers and toolchains that I have also automatically set up for CMake, so that I can come in here, hit configure. I can build on Linux for Android. I can build on Linux for GCC, Clang, WebAssembly, and on ARM64 Linux WebAssembly. So I've got all of that supported. Now I'm currently on Windows, but I can clone this project on a Linux system and do all of this over again. So let's try and use this to get MingW up and running. I swear I've done this before. I'm going to try it on Windows first, and if that doesn't go well, I will do it on Linux. So I'm going to open this back up on Windows, and we'll just do it with this, right? We'll verify it works, so we'll know it works if I can open that black window again, and then we know we'll have success. It's always good to have like a very simple project you know works that doesn't do much, because then you eliminate variables that might cause problems down the road. So this is our goal. Get a black box to draw with MingW. Now, step one, how do I get MingW for Windows? I have Chocolatey installed, so I assume I can just do that. Oh, that's not how you do it. Oh, that's not how you do it. Browser. Let's try Choco, MingW. I am not an organization using Chocolatey. I am a single person. So MingW 64 15.2. I assume that's what you mean, right? You tried the WinLibs one? I don't know. Well, we'll try this one, see if there's parts of it that you can follow along. What I'm looking for is the install command. Choco install MingW. Let's see if I can do that. I don't know if I can do that from this terminal. I forget if I have sudo installed on Windows. Well, we'll try it. Choco install MingW. Chocolatey detected you are not running in an elevated command shell. Do you want to continue? You may experience errors. Oh well, we'll give it a shot. See what happens. It's downloading MingW 15.2. Is it gonna struggle? MingW is not that big, is it? It says it downloaded it. Come on. All right, well, while that's downloading, I'm gonna grab another monster. This is turning into a late night for me. We're doing this. All right, monster in hand. Let's go. Let's figure out how to draw a single black rectangle. Okay, so denied. I'm just gonna have to do this in an elevated terminal. Unless, do I have sudo working on here? I learned this recently, but Windows now supports the sudo command. Choco install. All right, you're not seeing this, but it did pop up a window that I am entering to say yes to install. It's downloading, progress 100%. Stand by, it's installing. Okay, don't forget this. It's going into program data. I'm going to close the window and reopen it to see if I get access to the toolchain. Is it literally called MingW on the command line? No. Let me, I might have to add it to my environment path. Stand by. MingW inside program data. MingW 64 bin. Oh, it's literally, oh, I knew that. Duh. GCC. Okay. Oh, I see. What do I need? Can I show this? How do I show this to you guys? Let me, yeah, I can show this. All right, I'm going to swap to my desktop, I think. Stand by. All right. So this is MingW installed, and it comes with different compilers, right? So there's GCC, G++, CC, C++. I think this is the compiler I need. Because I'm assuming this is the compiler I need. x86, 64, W64, etc. So I am going to use CMake presets to call these compilers out so that when I configure CMake, it will use these compilers instead of Visual Studio or MSVC compilers. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that into my environment variables here. By copying that directory, we need to add it to path, program data, MingW. Okay. All right, I'm gonna reload the window again because on Windows you have to launch an application from scratch to get access to the environment variables. Or that's the easiest way to do it for me personally. I'm sure there's like another way to do it. Okay. If that worked, I should now have GCC on my command line. Okay, we have GCC on the command line. Sweet. Actually, you know what? That might automatically work now for my GCC build. Let's try that first, and then I'll try the Windows to Linux GCC compiler. So the way I would do that is I need to create a Windows preset now for GCC. So I have a CMake folder with all my preset definitions located. So here's a compiler. I already have GCC compiler defined with compiler flags. G++, GCC. So the only thing I really need to do is add the option to my Windows platform here. So currently I have Visual Studio, MSVC, debug, release. So I'm going to add, and I'll just copy, don't do that. Don't delete everything. I need the GCC compiler, GCC. And then I need to copy and paste my debug and release and call this GCC. Okay. That should take care of that. And then I need a GCC build preset. So this is just a copy and paste. Cool. Nope, don't replace that. I need to copy it. So I also use Gtest and Ctest, CMake testing to automate my test workflows. So that I have configurations for that too. Ooh, what is it doing? Oh my God. No, stop it. There you go. All right. So this, what was it complaining about? I forget a comma. I sure did. Okay. If this works, then the MingW GCC works on Windows. and I assume it will generate or compile Linux files, SOs. So let's give it a shot. What's the best way to do this? Actually, I'm missing a comma here. Okay. Now this is what is it doing now? All that looks good. Okay, all that looks good. So this is a VS Code-ism. VS Code doesn't actually use the CMake presets like you would on the command line. So you have to reload the VS Code window for it to parse the JSON files correctly. That was a fun bug I had to track down a while back. All right, let's see if this works. Now this will have to recompile all the dependencies since I'm using a new compiler. So we come in here. I now have Windows GCC debug, Windows GCC release. Let's do release. And if this works, we will start to see dependencies getting compiled, installed, generated. I'm going to hit compile. Ooh, what is happening? Ooh, boy. I mean, it works because, it works as in it used the compiler, so that's good. But it looks like I might not have something installed. Is that threads? Hey, what are you doing, Shrill? My cat's here. One sec. He always comes in here to bite at my feet when he wants something. All right, so what is our issues? Our issues is memory. What? Memory. Declared with internal linkage pthread. Oh, do I not have pthread? Oh, this is a module issue. Was this what you were running into? You said you were having issues getting this working with modules? This internal linkage. You know what? This is where I think AI can help us, maybe, or it's gonna tell us that like, yep, you're right, it broke. So I'm gonna let it take a look and see if it can figure this out. But the internal linkage issue that I've ran into in the past is an issue with modules, and usually my workaround for that is I patch the code that needs it patched, but I can't really patch pthread. What am I trying to do here? Yeah, I think I just saw something else in there. TU. Whenever I see this TU exposes TU local entity, usually what I've done in the past to fix this, and I have patch files for this for other libraries, is I think you make the static, like the global variables inline, so that they become translation unit local. Where have I done that? I've done that somewhere. VC packet. Yeah, right here. Like, this is how I've fixed other APIs that don't work with modules. Replacing static with inline. Not the greatest solution. I'm curious if this will work with GCC 16 now. But you're right. I don't remember, but it was something like, yeah, based on what I'm seeing here, then yes, I think you're right. MingW might, at least on Windows, might not work with modules. I could have sworn I gotten it working, but maybe I wasn't using modules when I did it. Maybe I was just using regular old headers and source files. Ooh, what's this? There might be a when pthread's always inline. You see the issue, but is there a solution? Uh-oh. I don't like that. What? Uh-oh. What's the AI doing? I'm going to override the win pthread macros to use inline instead of... Oh! I mean... I mean, if the macros is what's defining that, then there would be nothing stopping us from like adding our own macro to override it, right? Undefine the macro and define our own. That would be cool if that worked. And if it does work, you just gave me the option to add MingW as a supported compiler to my project, which I wasn't really considering doing, and now I just get it. Because at that point, can't I just use MingW for everything? Oh, I've got messages. Sorry, my friend's asking. Sorry, I chose to stream tonight. I've got a bunch of YouTube chatters hanging out. Hanging out with me. Okay, so let's see. Did it say it worked? Fix. Predefine WinPthread decal macros as plain inline. They are guarded with if not defs. Okay, so where did that happen? Ooh. Okay, if this works, that's freaking awesome. That's actually really cool. I'll be honest, this is one of those things where like if AI solved this, I'm not I feel like I would eventually solve this if someone said like, "Hey, you have to get this fixed." It just would have taken a lot of time, right? Because I'm not familiar with how all of this works, especially MingW, because I've never really used MingW before. Oh my god, I don't know if this is compiling or crying. Maybe, maybe this was a bad idea. Okay, this might have been a bad idea. All right, all right. Ignore everything I just said. This was a bad idea. Corrupt directive at end of definition file. Alternate name AVX2 WMIM enabled. Oh no, what have we done? What does this even mean? GS handler check. I'm sorry, I see GS and I think gear score. Undefined reference. So are we like not linking against something? Undefined reference to security check cookie. Um, Oh, I wonder if we're not. We might not be linking against some things we need to link against, or it's a like static versus dynamic link issue. All right, I'm gonna give AI one more chance. See what it thinks. Uh-oh, what did I do? LD undefined reference to security check cookie. That's usually like aren't cookies those aren't cookies those things that compilers inject into your binaries to make sure like no one's messed with your binaries? I'm pretty sure. God, it's been so long since I've had to like mess with security settings. I'm curious now. Browser, Google, compiler, security, check, cookie. Is a Microsoft Visual Studio runtime function used to detect stack-based buffer overruns, preventing exploitation. Enabled by default via the /gs compiler flag, it validates a security cookie, a canary, placed on the stack before a function returns. If the cookie is corrupted, the program terminates to prevent malicious code execution. Yeah, so like I've worked in environments where I've had to harden the software we compile. which usually means turning on stuff like this to make sure your code isn't messed with. Because there's binary hacking, right? There's people out there who much smarter than I am who are capable of like just literally editing the binary of your code to inject like functions or at least expose symbols so that when your application's running in memory, they can access those symbols or hook into them. I've never done any kind of like low level penetration testing like that, but this is some of the stuff they use to defend against that. Compact. It looks like your message came through empty. What would you like? Okay, so I gave it too much. Let's try this again. I gave it way too much. I really want to solve. What was the first error we got? Warning corrupt directive. I am worried about that. I'm not used to seeing those types of errors. But what happened first? Always start with the first error. Oh my god, there's so much. Okay. So let's start with multiple definitions. Usually multiple definitions happens if I am incorrectly linking against static libraries. Which, I mean, I would never do that. So surely that's not the issue. All right. Wall of text go burr. I really feel like I don't need this much text. Let's do this simple. When I compile with the x64 Windows GCC release preset, I get a bunch of errors. Please help. Please send help. Let's see. I do want to give it a little bit of context here. Let's grab this one right here. Copy. I also want to grab the corruption. Okay. I had I'm assuming a bunch of the YouTube people are here from my short that went sort of viral, at least relative to my other shorts. I've been averaging about like 1 to 3K views on YouTube, and then out of nowhere, I had one short. I think it's up to 140,000 views or something, which is just blowing my mind. I don't even like, and I don't think a lot of people liked it. And I didn't think it was that controversial. I was just describing like a known thing in C++ and hoping like if someone who didn't know about it came across it would learn something. But people are like, "No, C++ sucks. You're the worst." 150K views. I never in my life would have ever thought I would create a video that is 150K views. Blows my mind. Oh, did you? Well, okay. So let me clarify a little. I would say there's a little bit of misspeak. I don't necessarily mean just junior developers, right? It's just in general, a lot of people who do C++, especially as a hobby, they might not know about the rule of 0, 3, or 5, right? Because it's not like if you're just doing C++, you're not thinking about the fact that like, oh, there's a bunch of like gotchas and known idioms that you need to be aware of, right? And so it's like yeah, I get it, right? You're not going to know the rule of five, but be aware it exists. And if you are aware it exists, understand why it exists, and then try and work towards writing code where you don't have to do it, right? Because rule of zero is always better than rule of five. And just for everyone's awareness, if you care enough about C++ and learning C++, there does exist something called the CPP core guidelines. That is, I don't know if Herb Sutter is still involved with it or not. If you don't know, oh, there you are. So the guy who originally created C++, Bjarne, assuming I pronounced that correctly, and Herb Sutter, who is just super intelligent, highly involved in C++ in general, they have CPP core guidelines on like how you should write C++ if you can moving forward, right? And part of that, I'm pretty sure, oh man, am I going to make a fool of myself? Yeah, rule of zero, right? This is what you should do. Default operations. If you can avoid defining default operations, do it. So basically, example, you create a struct. There's no copy, move, or destructors because your private member variables are already having their resources managed by those types, right? A map and a standard string, they handle their own resources. So you don't have to write anything. Let's see if you define or delete any copy, move, or destructor, define or delete all of them. That was what I was trying to say. And I got like comments on the video saying like, if you do that, you're a junior developer. I'm like, what? I didn't write it. I didn't come up with this. This is literally like how you do C++. And this is how professionally, how I do C++. And it is enforced by tools like Clang Tidy, right? Software pipelines, automation, static analyzers. They enforce this for you so you don't have to stress about it. It just calls you out and says, hey, make sure you do this. But yeah, so I meant no offense to anyone, right? It just like, it caught me off guard. That was an off the cuff comment. I was having a conversation with someone and I posted it, and I mean it garnished engagement, but I have learned something today. The internet, as generally speaking, appears to really not like C++, which hurts my heart. Let's see. Did this come up with a solution? Now you need to delete the stale build directory, reconfigure so VC package rebuilds. Okay. So maybe the issue was I just needed a rebuild. It's always a rebuild. I should have tried that first. We'll see if that's actually true. Coding Jesus also is a C++ quant dev content creator, and he has a few videos of him asking uni students about the rule of five, and they get stumped. Yeah, like, it's awesome if you are a junior and you do know the rule of five. That is fantastic. And I would say if you are a junior commenting on my short about the rule of five, the likelihood that you know what it is probably a lot higher than a university student coming out of college, right? And that's all I meant, right? Because not every college will teach that. I know my college didn't teach it. I didn't learn about it until I was actually on the job, and I started paying attention to people like Herb Sutter talking about it, right? It wasn't something that like, and I've worked with a large number of software engineers over my career, and a lot of them don't know this stuff because a lot of them don't care. And, you know, I guess teach their own, but for me personally and professionally, when you do care about that kind of stuff and keeping your C++ code consistent and relatively clean of defect like that, it makes maintaining your code base so much easier. So much easier. You don't end up with like random errors with like object slicing. Have you ever had an object slicing error crop up in your 500,000 or a million line code base and you're like, what is going on? We can't figure out what's going on. And you have to like start debugging memory addresses to figure out what's happening. Whew. Yo, hey Kamal. Welcome to the stream. Um, Potentially, what do you got? As long as it's a nice joke. That's not a nice joke. Come on. All right. Where are we at? Imported location. Oh, because I'm linking statically, that makes sense. Because I'm linking statically, I probably do need to link against libpng. Though I would have imagined SDL to handle that for me. Oh, but I'm using MingW now, right? So maybe the configuration's a little different. It might not know how to handle that since I'm cross compiling. Uh, cool. All right, let's see here. Imported location not set for imported target PNG configuration release. We're still running, or no, it's just configuring. Not set for imported target PNG configuration release. So I think, well, it found PNG. It's just not set for the PNG target. So we're entering in territory that I don't know how well. Is there a triplet for this? MingW triplet dynamic. Oh, I wonder if I have a static. Hang on. I might know what's going on. This might be a VC package thing. MingW static target on Windows, MingW target MingW. That makes sense. Okay, let's have this take a look. Yeah, that makes sense. The dependencies I had, that's why we were seeing those corrupted errors. I had my dependencies, SDL and its dependencies, compiled for x64 Windows using the MSVC compiler, but I was trying to build the app with MingW, and that wasn't going to work. So we actually need to get the dependencies built with the same compiler settings along with the app. And as for what's happening with the CMake thing, I'm not 100% sure. I have some assumptions, but I don't know if the assumptions are correct without digging into it. And I'm lazy, so we're going to have the LLM dig into it because it might be able to do it a lot quicker than I can. The cache still references, oh, that might be the issue. The cache still references my Windows static build. So it's going to remove my build directory. And then the cache variable once set. Okay, so maybe it already built it or removed it. Let me check. In fact, I can just remove all these build directories. My dependencies are already cached, so it shouldn't have to recompile them. Hit configure. Okay, that generated. That's good. So let's compile the project. Lots of compilation and no warnings. I always love seeing compile outputs with no warnings. My early career starting out with C++ was just warnings everywhere. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Now we're hitting undefined reference to open terminal. What in the world? Write to terminal? Who's using the terminal? Build failed, Pong. I want to let me copy this. I mean, that just makes me think I'm straight up not linking against something. Basic string. Am I not linking against uh like standard C++ or something? Is that the issue? Yeah, standard. Yeah, that's probably what's happening. So if that's the case, it's going to have to get added to my preset for MingW. Ooh, maybe I need to create a separate MingW preset. I didn't think about that because I don't need this for Linux. This just needs to be for MingW. So okay, if once we get that link flag in, it's going to symbols used by standard print line live in this standard C++ auxiliary. Oh, you called it. Wow, you okay. So I'm not familiar with that. What is EXP? Is that experimental? But where did that get added? Target link libraries. Well, I'm not going to want to do it there though. We'll see if that builds. It built. It built a Windows executable using GCC. Wow, that's actually kind of cool. I'm not really. I have not used. Ooh. Oh, I'm in the wrong. That's right. Sorry. Hang on. GCC release. Hey, what is it called? That's our end condition, right? Our acceptance criteria, if you will. We have a black box drawing compiling my project with MingW. Okay, so I want to clean this up a little because I don't want this flag here. So part of using CMake presets is as much as you can, you try and keep all of those CMake variable options, compiler flags, etc. Try and keep it out of your actual project as much as you can, because then, now it depends how big your project's going to be and who all else is going to use it. But in theory, if you do that, you make it much easier for someone to integrate your project as a library, and they can inject their own compiler flags and settings for your project. If you don't care about that stuff, then I mean, by all means, do what you want. I don't care. But I care about this, and so I'm doing it. So we need to actually grab. Where did it put that flag? Was it in Pong? Right here. Okay. So I need to make sure this gets linked. Let's do. What's the best way to do this? I think I need a new MingW gcc.json. Let's copy this, paste it here. Let's get rid of this. Paste this here so I can make this a little easier to see. Let's add. What did you call it? Oh wait, no, this would be a linker flag. Oh my gosh, how do I? It's been so long. I think it's like CMake, CXX linker flags. Is that how that works? Standard C++. Hopefully that's how that works. So I guess before I mess with a bunch of other stuff, I should make sure this actually works. So let me copy that and add it here. And then remove it from here, which I already did. Recompile. Why would that not work? Target link libraries. Should that not work with... Oh, wait a minute. I gotta reload the window. Can you show the CMake flags added in the preset so I can screenshot it? Oh, absolutely. Just so you're aware, this project does exist on GitHub. So if you go to github.com/funandsoftware.llc, it should be public. So the project I'm currently working in that has a bunch more stuff, it's called Awin. This is kind of my playground to just dump a bunch of terribly written code to experiment and play with and tinker just to learn. So this will have in the CMake folder all of those presets. Everything I've done to get presets up and running, all the flags, all the compilers. The goal here is like you can compile on, so that's your host, and you can compile for, that's your target, right? So I'm compiling on Windows, but I'm going to target Android. I can compile on Windows, but I'm going to target WebAssembly, you know, that kind of thing. So all of that is here, along with the VC package dependency integration. If you want something simpler to read, I have another project out there on this in this GitHub called CMake Platforms. And then here, that's all this is. I think it's like a Hello Triangle using Raylib, something like that. But again, in that CMake folder, I have compiler, config, host, platform, target. So that all exists. Are you allowed to post links in chat? I don't know how that works. But I can at least send you... I don't actually know. You're in YouTube. How do I chat with YouTube? All right. So you're welcome to any of that. I've licensed it as MIT, so just do what you will. And I can also make sure once I actually get this up and running and working, I'll make sure I commit these changes as well. This will be in the Allwin project. I got to figure out why my linker flag isn't making it. It should work. Maybe I don't know. I might be entering it in incorrectly for CMake. Oh, is it link flags? Maybe that's what I got wrong. Let's reload it. Hit F7. Did you mean CXX? No. I want to link against it. Does this not work? Let's see here. Am I able to add... Am I missing the L? Do I need a dash L here? Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. For some reason, I thought CMake would automatically inject that, but I could be wrong about that. I hardly have ever in my career have had to add custom links because I don't like use all these custom compilers. I've always stuck to the big three. Let's reload again. Hit F7. F7 will build for me. Ah, frick. I hate programming. Am I able to use CMake link flag variables to add -L standard C++ exp instead of defining it in a CMake list file? I am currently trying to do this, but it doesn't seem to be working. Have you ever watched the Cherno? He does some good. Yes. Yeah, he's awesome. And he also like the videos he makes are so well produced that I'm just like jealous because there's just like I don't have the time and effort to be able to put that kind of content out. I would love to, but man. But yeah, I actually gosh, I think I discovered him during COVID cuz at least here I'm in America. I don't know where everyone else is. At least in America, we were like kind of on lockdown, so I was basically working from home. And so I would literally just be like coding and then on YouTube on another monitor listening to him talk because he just has a good way of talking about programming, which is awesome. Now, I like from a C++ perspective, I think some of his C++ stuff is a little dated at this point because obviously C++ is ever evolving, which is what I'm trying to keep up with. But like he clearly knows what he's talking about. Oh, is he Australian? That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely early on I sent my own junior developers like, hey, like he knows what he's talking about. Just watch him. I'm busy. I got meetings to attend to. You know he's got it covered. Okay. So what did I get wrong? CMake CXX standard libraries. Is that a flag? I don't think I knew that. Let's see if that works. I'm learning something new. I've never had to use this flag before. Does that compile? Holy crap, that worked. All right, new variable unlocked for CMake. CMake CXX standard libraries. I have never had to use that before. That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, I don't have to add that to my CMake list, which is huge. So I'm going to stage this. We're not quite ready to commit because I want to get this off of my GCC compiler and into my MingW compiler. And then I'll also set up a Windows cross-platform because there's that other compiler that comes with MingW. And we'll make sure that works as well. Let's see here. MingW. So I want to copy this. Paste this. We call this compiler MingW. Apologies if that's not how people actually say this, but that's what I say, MingW. We still want all of our fun, pedantic, all warnings treated as errors. We still want all of that. Wait. No, don't do that. Sometimes the autocomplete from the Copilot integration is just like so wrong with what I'm intending to do. So the solution for modules was to make the WinP thread stuff inline. I think that's what it boiled down to. This stuff here is just for my own code. We still want G++ GCC. And then here, I want to remove this because I don't need it. I don't need any of this. So we'll get rid of that. Oh, I got rid of a quote. Oh my gosh. Come on. I hope there's no like super awesome NeoVim or Vim users in here watching me slowly point and click. If you are one of those type of developers, I apologize for having you having to watch me suffer through using an editor. Let's see here. So that's GCC. So I need to make sure my GCC, my MingW targets are using. Let's see, x64 MingW. I need to make sure, is it the platform? MSVC release. So this needs to become MingW GCC. MingW GCC. So does this. And this becomes compiler MingW. Yep. You're getting it. Okay. I think that is everything. Let's close all this. Let's change my CMake preset, which should now be MingW. Ooh, I don't have. When you lose all of your presets, that means you have a syntax error. Could not find configure preset compiler MingW. I think I failed to include it, would be my guess. Platform, Windows. Yep, that's what happened. MingW. Okay. CMake presets. All right, so now I have a new option. Thanks to D-Ron, I can now support MingW GCC for my project. Not something I ever considered, but it was relatively easy with a little bit of help of medium bit of help of an AI. I was able to get this up and running. So that configured. Let's build using C++ modules even, which is really cool. That built. Let's make sure it runs. Using MingW. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hang on. It should be MingW now. Ooh, unless, did I screw up a naming convention? Nope, there it is. Sweet. All right, we have MingW supported on Windows. So in theory, I can also use MingW on Linux to build the same thing. Clang, let's automatically run Clang format to clean up any code. Ooh, do I have Clang Tidy on Windows? Let's run it. I don't know if I have it on Windows. Clang Tidy. I have Clang Tiny. I don't have the run Clang Tidy shell script. That's the issue. All right, I'm not going to bother with that right now. So I'm going to stage my changes, and actually, I'm going to get these committed, I think. Do I add a GitHub action to support MingW now? I'll do that later. That's because I need to get it up and running on Windows too, or Linux as well. Let's. Do we just push it raw to main and just assume all the pipelines are gonna pass? I think I do. Add add support for MingW, GCC, and initial Carwin app. We're gonna do it raw. Push to main. Weird, this doesn't look like vibe coding. Dare I say, is this real? Tog, you missed a little bit of vibe coding. Well, let me ask you guys this. Is it vibe coding if you're using AI for like debugging purposes versus code generation? Because I assume vibe coding is like, hey, make me an app and it go burr, right? And then you just get like thousands of lines of code that you have no idea what it does, but it kind of might work a little bit until you like actually start to use it. Versus what I just did, which is, hey, I have this esoteric linker error that I don't feel like spending 5 days like researching to eventually figure out that I was missing a linker flag. Like, right? Is there a difference? Push the main on a Saturday. Oh, you want to see? All right, we're gonna see if I see how that push the main worked, because I do have GitHub Actions running. Ooh, what do you guys think? Is GitHub working right now? I've seen the news. I see people leaving GitHub. Don't think I'm not considering it. The only problem is the one thing I'm using GitHub for is its actions, which are free, unlimited minutes for public repos. and that's kind of hard to beat. And I'm lazy, and I didn't want to like maintain my own server. But I do have. Where is it? Is this? Oh man, why is it? Okay. Have you guys seen one of these? I do have a like a I don't remember what's in it. It's like a 16 core Ryzen CPU with I think I have 32 gigs of RAM, something like that. I could probably turn this into a pipeline runner and just leave GitHub entirely. It's just like legitimately, it is really hard to beat unlimited minutes for a public repo, right? Like, look at all these jobs I'm running, right? I support Windows, Mac. Like, having a free Mac runner, there's, unless you tell me wrong, there's not a lot of services that provide all of this for free. I have an Android build going right now. I have a Linux build on Clang, a Linux build on GCC, a WebAssembly build running, my Clang format checks, my Clang tidy checks, all of this is running for free. Like that's really hard to beat, but I could set this up locally myself and just throw it all on this like little box here. Because like I mean these runners aren't super powerful. They're like 4 cores, something like that. Not a lot of storage. I actually think my storage quota is used up, at least for my private repos. Yeah, I saw the news about Ghosty. I don't know too much about Ghosty. I know it's like it's its own terminal. I use Windows Terminal because I'm a pleb, you know. It's there. I really like it. I like that I can like hop into Windows Subsystem for Linux whenever I need to. I just haven't explored it. I'll tell you, if the day ever comes that I could be a full time streaming developer, then I might go full streamer developer and get the NeoVim up and running. Or these days, I think Zed 1.0 just came out. I'm really interested in trying that out. Do the whole Microsoft Black Paint or Microsoft Paint with the black background and the white drawing, so I can explain software development. I think that's how you become a popular YouTuber, right? Oh no, I pushed the main and my builds are failing. Look what you guys made me do. Linux build, Clang debug failed. What did I get wrong? I am not linking against an iBus dependency. Oh, you know what? I am using a newer version of SDL through VC package, so it is very possible I am missing some dependencies in my dev container. Hey, at least you met your quota. I, I've never been a Vim motion user, but I am impressed. You know, for those who have the wherewithal to sit there and get really good at it, I am so impressed by what you guys are able to do with your with your fingers. Okay, so yeah, this is how we solve this, right? So I'm on Windows, but it's easy enough for me to just click down here and then pop into my Linux container and run a Linux Clang debug build with my new dependencies. Now, because this is Docker inside a WSL environment, it's going to be a little slow to get things compiled because of the disk IO usage, because I'm writing everything to my Windows drive versus like in the virtual environment. I don't need this. So what's failing? Linux Clang debug. Ooh, I'm getting a rendering issue here. What in the world? Are you guys seeing this? I have like the browser is rendered not in a tab. Well, VS Code sucks. You see it here. What in tarnations? Is it? It's like on top of my. Get off of my VS Code. What the heck? Look at this. Can I reload the window maybe? All right, I'm just gonna close VS Code, reopen it. VS Code dev container. All right, we're back. Whew. That was a first. I've not seen that before. Oh no. How many people are using NeoVim in here? Am I the one that looks silly using VS Code right now? Did you see the Herb Sutter Citadel C++ video? He's very optimistic. If I don't know if it was called Citadel, but I did watch one of them where he went over the reflections, and it is so freaking cool what you can do with C++ reflections, and we have only touched the surface because not all the compilers like fully support it yet, but what can be done is just blowing my mind. Blowing my mind. You can literally write your own custom like scripting language and have C++ generate C++ code and compile it all during the like compilation step. And it's just like, whoa. I did see there's a C++ con video of I might be able to find it for you guys, but there's a CPP con video where someone took SIMD and C++ reflections and was able to do JSON parsing at like 4.75 gigabytes per second, which is more than twice as fast as the fastest C JSON parser and Rust JSON parser. And it's just like, it's just unbelievable. Like, there are some really smart people out there who are going to be writing some insane C++ reflection code, and I am so excited to see what comes of it. I saw that. I'm not quite ready to switch to GCC 16 yet. I want to make sure like the big three compilers have some support for it, and then I will, at least for this project. Maybe I'll do another project that's like GCC 16 only, just so I can like start learning reflection. Anyway, we are dealing with a Linux, what was it? Linux Clang debug build that was failing. So we'll see what's going on here. Okay. I might be able to do that. I apologize. That's not something I'm used to doing. Hang on. I might be able to help you there. I don't have like an overlay because I don't know what's out there yet. But I do have OBS, and I can probably... I'll just switch to my desktop so you guys can see. Hang on. I need to edit my desktop though. Let's do... All right. I apparently don't have the same... Okay, I think I know what I need to do. So I need to... Oop, not press that button. I need to do this. And then I need to do this. Stand by. Something like that. There you go. All right, YouTube and Twitch. This is like the reason I've never had to do this before is this is like literally the first time I've had Twitch and YouTube viewers who are chatting at the exact same time. So yeah, I mean, that's my goal. So this window right here, I want that, but I want it written in C++ with a project I own using Entity Component System. And I also want to be able to, because like this is a multi-chat in read-only mode. I don't know how to get it out of actually, is there a way to do it? I can mute. I don't know how to get it out of read-only mode. I've not played around with OBS too much. But I want to get my own app written, because then if you think about it, it's literally like your guys' messages is just JSON, right? So wouldn't it be possible for me to just write a JSON parser to read your guys' text and be like, hey, one's in the chat, zero's in the chat, and then you could have like polls based on just user input, Twitch input. Then we can go a step further, and I can like start parsing your JSON messages to control any other apps that I decide to make. If I make a video game, I could literally have chat control the game, you know, that kind of thing. ECS is Entity Component System. It's another way to write code. Instead of object-oriented programming, you do things based on, like, it's more like data-oriented programming. JavaScript, use something you enjoy. Oh, just use something you enjoy. Vim, NeoVim, waste of time. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever you enjoy, right? Whatever gets you to program. I think that's what's important. And some people really like tinkering and really getting good. And when you are good with NeoVim, holy crap. Yeah, I apologize for that. This is my first night ever having so many people chatting with each other. If I would have thought ahead, I would have had that up there earlier. I realize now that you guys are probably thinking I was talking to myself. No, VS Code's good now. What you guys are seeing, if you're not familiar with VC Package, C++ package manager maintained by Microsoft, it pulls in all the open source libraries I'm depending on. So it's literally sitting here compiling them right now. So we're watching paint dry. I've been using C++ my entire career, which expands about 15 years. You wrote code on paper? Uh, have I written code on paper? I probably wrote some code back in the day on paper as like design practice, right? What's all right. What's everyone's earliest programming language they've used? Because I know what mine is, because it's what actually got me into programming. I am so hungry right now. I did not think I was going to be up this late. We got C++, C, Auto IT. Never heard of that. Do you guys know what a TI graphing calculator is? Or Visual Basic? Have you heard of Visual Basic? So the TI graphing calculator had assembly and basic, like some form of basic on it. That was one of the first programming languages I ever did, because I would code all of the equations you needed to know for like algebra and pre-calc into the calculator, so that when I took a test, I just had to enter the inputs and it would solve the problems for me. That's what got me into programming. That and building websites. HTML4 for dummies, baby. TI-84 did not exist when I was in when was I doing that? So I was taking honors math in 8th grade. So I had the TI-83 plus, and then I inherited my older brother's TI-89 graphing calculator. TI-84 didn't come out for like a couple more years for me. Okay, yeah. So we're seeing the fact that I probably need libibus installed. So do I have that in my Docker file? And it's right there, libibus. Might as well say Pascal. I've never done Pascal. Okay. What is everyone's worst programming language they've used? Don't say C++. That's a cop out. There can be worse. I think the one that I like the least that I have used was in school, and it was called, oh, what was it called? It was built on top of Java, I think. Scala? Does that ring a bell? Scala? I hated that. I had to write like a deck of like a random poker, like a poker simulation is what I had to write with Scala. JavaScript, Python, Scala. Yeah. I've done a little bit of JavaScript. That's mostly with Qt Quick, QML scripting language. It has like JavaScript built into it. It's okay. I'm not a huge fan of like not having types. I really like typed languages. And so when you're like dealing with JavaScript and you don't know what, oh, excuse me, you don't know what the types are, that's a little rough. And sometimes it's hard to track down errors when you're debugging it. Okay, what else we got here? All right. Yeah, I'm only like 7 of 12 dependencies built because I'm running this in a Docker container in WSL on Windows. This is going to take a minute. All right, we're starting to move. It's just not like scrolling. All right. I'm going to let this compile some more. I ran out of water. I'll be right back. I'm going to use the bathroom as well. All right. Where are we at? I was looking to control. Oh, I just realized if I scroll through this, you guys don't get to see what you're looking at. All right, I'll have to. The next time I stream, I'll probably try and see if I can figure out the multi-stream overlay that people use these days. You know, Rust is a language I haven't tried yet. It looks interesting. I just, at least professionally speaking, I haven't had a need to learn it yet, so I just haven't done it. But I am aware of Bevy, and Bevy looks pretty cool. Okay, so we are running into an issue here on Linux. SDL ibus quit is undefined, so we're clearly not linking against something we should be. I'll be damned if I know which. I assume it's an IBS or ibus thing. So this is where I can use the LLM to help me figure out which library I'm missing. The link error comes from SDL3 detecting ibus headers, enabling ibus support, while the ibus implementation isn't being linked. Easiest fix, drop the ibus deb package. Oh. All right. I'm okay with that. I don't think I need ibus right now. Isn't that like an event bus or something? It will have. Ooh, it's. Oh, man, that's gonna have me freaking rebuild the container and have to rebuild my dependencies. So let's try it in the cloud. It should be linking. Oh, it might be a bug with SDL3, it's saying. Interesting. Don't know how true that is, but interesting. All right, let's I guess let's just see what happens. We're doing it live. Screw it, we're doing it live. Pushing the main. Remove lib ibus. If this doesn't work, I will probably cry and go to sleep. And I don't want you guys to see me crying on stream, so. All right, remember, anything I do on stream, it's do as I say, not as I do, okay? Hey, Rhythm, I'm just doing some C++. Right now, it's mostly dependency management. But as you can see, I have a chat window here that is OBS. I am hoping at some point to build up a my own chat window for parsing like JSON messages and stuff like that to have chat interact with the applications I put on screen. We'll see if that happens or not. I work full time, so this is kind of a part-time gig, and this idea might be a monumental effort. It might seem simple to start with and then become monumental. Time will tell. Oh, it's already Sunday morning. It's midnight where I'm at. Well, that might have worked. I'm not seeing, or no, it has to build the Docker image. That's why it's taking a sec. All right, where are we at? We're building containers right now without the libibus dependency, but if that works, then everything else should compile. Come on, compile. Okay, the container built, it's pushing its layers, that's good. So the other piece of this puzzle, I'm gonna go ahead and pop out of Linux here and get back to Windows. Cool. All right. So the other piece of this puzzle is going to be using Flex, which is an entity component system, and trying to build renderable UI components using entity components instead of object-oriented programming, which I've not really done before. So this will be a learning experience for me. I think one of the projects we will see with Reflections is a gRPC library because it uses a proto definition file, which, oh, that's a good point. That would be huge, right? Well, so being a Qt developer for the longest time, or using Qt, I guess it's actually technically pronounced Qt, but I've always called it Qt. Having that meta object compiler, that post build processing step or pre build processing step to auto generate a bunch of code, like C++ Reflections, I think, I don't, the Qt company had a post about this. I don't know if it completely has all the features needed, but a lot of the features are there now to basically do away with the meta object compiler, which I know for the longest time has been a turnoff for anyone who tries to use Qt as a third-party library. I mean, there's already, like, I'll tell you, the one library I'm looking to use is called Glaze, I think. I just recently discovered it. It's a serialization library. Look at this. Update GCC C++ 26 reflections as of yesterday. Oh, I didn't know that. So this does serialization and has C++ 26 reflection support. And so I think I'm trying to find its documentation. There's an example. Yeah, so literally we are now entering the age of C++ where we can write a struct or a class with whatever data you want in it, and it will automatically be converted to a JSON, and you did not have to use any macros, and you did not have to register the class with any like reflection system. It just works. And it's like, this is what I want. This is huge. It blows my mind what we're going to be able to come up with C++ 26. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Yes, they're already playing with it. This is so cool. So I'm trying to come up with an excuse. I'm trying to come up with a project where I want to parse JSON. Twitch chat, hello. I want an excuse to parse JSON so I can like play around with C++ reflections. And it compares glaze to like I'm used to using Enloman JSON. This is what I'm most familiar with, which has been really nice. It's not the fastest, but it integrates really well with STL types. Rapid JSON's always been pretty quick. It does a bunch of like pre-allocated memory tricks. I'm not familiar with. I've never used boosts JSON. I'm not familiar with some of these, but it kind of gives you an idea, right, of what Glaze is capable of compared to some of these other common JSON libraries, especially with reflections. I don't know. Does it compare reflection performance? Is that what it's doing? Caveats. SIMD JSON, YY JSON are great, but they experience major performance losses when the data is not in the expected sequence or any keys are missing. Huh, interesting. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, here we go. All right, moment of truth. We've got our Linux build going. And if this works out, we've got a good solid foundation, and I get to support a new compiler that I never intended to support because it was, again, relatively easy to drop in, MingW. My pipelines don't support it yet, so I'll have to update the GitHub actions to support that. And if this doesn't work, like I said, I'm crying and going to bed. Well, actually, I'm probably crying and going to bed anyway, because you guys have kept me up much later than I thought I was going to be up. Does Glaze support binary serialization? That is a great question. What is Beeve? Beeve packs more efficiently than JSON, so transporting the same data is even faster. I've never heard of Beeve. JSON, read write from file. That's all JSON. OStream buffer. That's a file. We're still writing JSON. Let's see. Binary. Oh, helps if I can type. Binary. It does JSON B, which is JSON in binary format. Beeve. Binary, efficient, versatile encoding. Has anyone ever heard of this? I've never heard of this before. High performance tagged binary data specification. So it looks like it's just a binary, like a relatively standard binary format with a schema. JSON B, yeah, BSON, there you go. BSON, MongoDB, binary JSON, JSON B, SQLite, binary JSON. Does it just do raw binary? Based on what I'm seeing, this Beeve format, binary efficient versatile encoding, is probably the closest it gets. Which, I mean, I don't know. I personally, I am okay if a library gives me a schema that defines the messages, so that I don't have to manage that myself. But that's the professional side of me, right? I don't want to spend my days. I'm at a point in my career where I've written all of this over the course of years, and at a certain point, I just want things to work. I just want to get it done and over with because I have other things I need to work on. Oh yeah, XML schema. Yep, I've done that. XL. What is that? Is that X? Oh my gosh, it's been a minute. XDS. Is it XDS? Is that the extension? Something like XSL. I was thinking XLS, but I was like, that can't be right. That's Excel. Where'd my? Oh my gosh. Oh, I popped it out. Oh wait. Oh, I forgot I'm on my desktop. I was like, how can you guys see that? No. Oh, now my WebAssembly's failing. Oh my gosh. Wait, shell file not found. What? Okay, that's fair. I'm just gonna copy this, paste it in here. Does this need a different name? Yes, it does. Have I showed you guys this? I don't know if I've shown you this. So with C++ and WebAssembly, let's see if it compiles WebAssembly. Wait, can I not compile WebAssembly on Windows? Do I not have Inscripted installed? That's awkward. All right, let's hop back over to Linux. Okay. So I have a WebAssembly preset here. ARM Linux 64. Nope, not ARM. I want x64 WebAssembly. Now I am using a new SDL dependency, so hopefully this doesn't crap out on me and make me look stupid in front of everyone. So that's not hard to do. I think Crypto's at least seen this. I don't know. It's just so cool that you can write C++ and create a website. Might be a slow website, relatively speaking, but it's still cool that you can do it. Is it really just WebAssembly that failed? So everything else passed. So I was just missing that file. Not that one. So viewport. I'm going to leave everything else alone. Add shell file for Carolyn. Cool. I think that got pushed. That's good. So that'll run one more time, and that should make my pipelines pass. And I can go to bed, not stress about builds being broken. All right. Almost there. 4 out of 12. Oh man. I wonder how that YouTube short's doing now. I wonder if I had to stop looking at the comments. Like some of them were starting to get kind of aggressive. I was not prepared. I was not prepared. Holy crap. I just can't believe it blew up. All right, WebAssembly passed, so that's good. Looks like we are on the verge of our pipelines passing, which is good. So we're going to be in a good spot to end the night with everything green. Everything green is good. Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate it. I don't, I think this is tough. Long term, the goal is to just have, it's probably what everyone wants, right? Just have a chill community who wants to like hang out and talk software, maybe experiment, try things, teach each other things, so on and so forth. But I am aware of the internet and I know how the internet works, and the vocal aggressive minority usually has a loud reach. Uh, it's just something we got to be aware of. Have a good night, D-Ron. Yeah, actually, Deron's got a good point. I think I'm gonna call it here. We've made more progress than I was actually thinking. My pipelines are going to be green. I support a new compiler. I didn't get as far as I wanted with the entity component system. So the next time I'll be on, which I'm hoping will be tomorrow evening for me, which is who knows what time all of you guys are experiencing right now, because it's past midnight for me. I'm exhausted. I've had a long day. But next time, I want to start tinkering with the entity component system and see if I can use that to start drawing UI components, graphics, that kind of thing, using SDL and its new GPU renderer, which supports shaders. I'll have to figure out how to handle like multi or cross platform shaders. I've done it before. Hopefully, I still have that code lying around somewhere. But yep. All right, guys. I'm calling it here. I really appreciate you guys coming by to hang out. This is really cool. I never thought I would get to experience this many people coming to talk software, so I really appreciate that.